What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. As most of you already know, this week the Pantheon features the Indomitable Rhulk challenge, adding one more boss encounter and increasing the power deficit by another 5 points. I'll be honest, this week's Pantheon is definitely more of a challenge than the previous two. So if you're a new player who's not as experienced with raiding, you're probably going to have some issues this week. And with that in mind, we're going to be covering a few tips and talk about some extraordinary weapon options that will help you and your team absolutely nuke each of these raid bosses. In the first 2 weeks of Pantheon, we saw Solar and Void energies getting surged, but this week Arc is what gets the sweet 25% bonus in damage, and that applies to all weapon and all ability damage. Solar builds have been extraordinarily powerful this season, but you'll find much more success out of running Arc builds this week. Titans will want to use Thunder Crash with Cuirass of the Fallen Sunstar, while Hunters use Gathering Storm and the Star Eaters. Warlocks who aren't already running a Well of Radiance will want to consider using Arc Souls and Chaos Reach with the Geomag Stabilizers. Not only will running these subclasses give you a bonus in damage against each of the bosses, but Arc builds also give you several options of blinding enemies, which would really help to manage adds and slow down those tormentors. So when putting together those builds, you'll need to be sure that you're using Flashbang Grenades, the Spark of Brilliance Fragment, or the Spark of Beacons Fragment. Each encounter is a little different, but for the most part, I found legendary weapons like the Wendigo, the Crux Termination, and the Indebted Kindness to be among the best and most reliable options. Weapon surge mods will stack on top of the activity modifier, so I would recommend to use at least 2 Arc Surge mods on your boots. If you need to, have a second set of boots with these mods on, so that you can quick swap to them just before damage phases start. And with that in mind, if you have any raid armor, and if you've unlocked raid armor mods, those are really going to help out in each of these encounters. And when it comes to damage phases, there's a few select exotics that will straight up melt these bosses. The Thunderlord is an easy to use and free option, but it only works right when you have the Catalyst. And since you'll chew through your ammo really quick, ammo economy will surely become an issue. And this is why I recommend using the Grand Overture, or the Cloud Strike. I think most players would find it easier to use the Grand Overture, and it does work out much better against the Caretaker. And if you're someone that has issues with snipers, then the Grand Overture is definitely going to be a better option. The Grand Overture charges up a volley of rockets as you hit targets, stacking up to a maximum of 20 rockets. The rockets are what will deal the most amount of damage to the bosses, and if you can have a few players running this, you'll nuke each and every one of this week's bosses. What I like most about the Grand Overture is that we can use it for ad clear purposes, so that we can build up those 20 stacks and have 20 rockets to immediately pummel the boss with. And against bosses like the Caretaker, you can even charge up those stacks by hitting the boss while he's immune. As strong as the Grand Overture is against most of this week's bosses, it's not as effective from longer distances, which is where the Cloud Strike can easily take over. This is the sniper equivalent of the Thunderlord, so you'll be able to have the same lightning burst effects, creating bonus damage. It's an extremely stable sniper, and it has lightning fast reload speed. And with the triple tap catalyst applied, you'll be able to dump your entire load and still have plenty of time to swap through your other weapons. The only boss that these exotics will underperform with will be Atrax, and that's just because of how this boss is designed. The Grand Overture could still be beneficial with its rockets, but to play off of the weekly surge, I would recommend using the Wardcliff Coil. That is, if you don't have the Parasite. The Wardcliff Coil dumps out a similar volley of rockets as the Grand Overture, but you're able to do it really quick. And if you're using a Hunter with Marksman Dodge, you could be able to get 2 of those blasts out extremely fast, making Atrax a cakewalk. Beyond the use of these exotics, the biggest key to success will be your ability to stay alive. So before you queue up, be sure that you have 100 resilience. And if you are using an arc build, be sure that you're using Spark of Resilience and that you have a source of health regeneration available, like the Better Already or Recuperation armor mods. And with that, we'll bring this video to a close, but I wish you all the best of luck in your efforts towards defeating this week's Pantheon bosses. Let me know how it's going down in the comments below, and let us know which boss you found to be the most difficult and the easiest. Thank you as always for checking out the video. If you enjoyed and found it helpful, then be sure to hit the like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated, and both really do help support the channel. If you're a new Light Guardian, just starting your journey, or a battle-hardened veteran, just looking for a new home, then be sure to check out the Discord link in the description below, and join one of the greatest communities in all of Destiny. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.
Show me everything, Guardian. No limits here. By the hammer of salt, I knew you wouldn't let me down.